Hi guys, welcome to my first tutorial. It's titled Business Finance. This is an area of focus that is useful for those students who are studying either business studies, business enterprise, skills, or commerce. So in the area of business finance, we'll be looking at how a business raises money to fund specific activities. So when you're looking at business finance, um, you we need to first come to a point where you classify the different ways of categorizing business finance. So the first method of categorizing business finance is on whether the money has been raised internally or from external sources. So when we talk of internal source of finance, we are talking about those methods of raising money that are carried out from within the business. Typical examples include the use of plowing back profits. Okay, so when you're plowing back profits, we are looking at how you're using the profit that you get from the business, you're using it within the business for expansion purposes. And then another way of internal source of finance, another way of sourcing internal finance is by selling assets. So there might come a time when a business is in need of cash, and they can decide to get rid or to dispose of some assets that are not being used, or maybe they are old, or maybe they're just they've got extra assets that are not being utilized. They can decide to sell those assets. And then we also you might also need to consider another way of raising um, another way of raising finance from within the business, which is known as a rights issue. So a rights issue, um, it's when the business decides to issue some shares to existing shareholders. So the business can sell some shares to the existing shareholders, thereby raising more capital. And then we've got external sources of finance. These are methods of raising money from outside the business. These ones they include a bank overdraft. So a bank overdraft is when a business is involved uh, with a bank. So they contact a bank, and they agree with the bank that the business is going to withdraw money from their bank account, which is more than the current balance that they have. So let's say, for example, you might have $1,000 in your bank account, and they can the bank can allow the business to draw amounts of maybe up to $2,000. So you've got an account balance of $1,000, and you withdraw $2,000 from the bank account. Thereby, you are left with a negative balance of $1,000 within the bank account. And then another way of raising finance from outside the business is by trade credit. So a trade credit is when a business decides to buy their supplies or their raw materials, their inputs from their supplier on credit. So like you are buying now and then you pay later, and then that's how that's how a trade credit facility works. And then in some cases, a business may also opt to um may also opt to go for leasing. So leasing is when you can it's more like hiring an asset for the long term. So you can hire a machine or equipment, tools from a specific company for the long run, maybe or a period of, let's say, 3 to 5 or maybe even 10 years. Um, so it's a way of using, it's a way of acquiring machinery without buying it. Then another way of raising capital is by debt factoring. So debt factoring is when a business decides to sell its trade receivables to another business at a discount. So let's say, for example, a business may have debtors owing maybe, let's say, $1,000, and the business may be in immediate need of cash, so they can decide to go to a debt factor. Maybe this could be a finance house or a discount house, or even some private businesses that can they can that business may offer to say they can take ownership of the debt, and then they give you some money, but you won't get the full amount. So let's say, for example, the business was having trade receivables of up to $1,000. The debt factor, the organization which is buying the debt, may offer maybe to pay out maybe $900, and then the difference, the $100, is their profit, because when the debtor comes to settle the amount, they are going to pay the full amount of 1,000 to the factor now. So the $100 is saving now as the profit for the debt factoring company. And then another way of raising external source of finance is through hire purchase. So hire purchase is when you are buying an asset through the installment facility. You are paying, you buy the asset now, and then you pay it over a period of some months, maybe let's say 12 to 24 months, paying in installments. And then also sometimes a bank might also offer loans and mortgages. So loans are, they're just formal ways of borrowing. You are borrowing money for the long run, maybe for a period of 3 to 5 years or so. So these loans are mainly used for capital expenditure. Maybe you want to spend on some tangible items, some long-term projects. And then in some cases, a business might also make use of debentures. So debentures are limited to large incorporated businesses such as public limited companies. So the debenture facility allows a business to sell debenture certificates for a certain fee, and in return, the buyer of the debenture is entitled to receive interest for the specified period of time, after which the business has the option to buy back the debentures, thereby returning the money that they may have borrowed. And also another option of raising capital is by issuing shares. So shares, these are units of capital or units of ownership that members of the public can buy from a company. And by buying shares, the members, the buyers become part owners of the company. So most businesses are not willing to issue shares because they've got the tendency of diluting ownership, reducing the power of existing shareholders. Then also, the following this table right now is giving us a summary of the external sources of finance as well as the internal sources of finance. And then another way of classifying sources of finance is by looking at the term or the time period. So we've got short-term sources of finance. These ones are available for a period of less than 12 months. And we've got long-term sources of finance, which are also which have got a durability or a time period of more than 12 months. So a good example of long-term source of finance involves items like shares, debentures, bank loans, as well as what else? Rights issues. Those are long-term sources of finance. Whereas we've got items like trade credit, debt factoring, bank overdrafts. They are short-term sources of finance. And then we also have some sources of finance that are not categorized as long-term or short-term. They maybe they fall under mid-term or medium-term sources of finance, such as hire purchase and leasing. So this is just but a summary of the source of finance that we have as a business. So if you need any more details, you can contact us on the details shown on the screen. Thank you.